Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow, right here on 88.3 FM WXOU, Auburn Hills, Michigan, Oakland University, and all your wonderful station identification features. I am your host, Giovanni Moscheri. I'm the sports media director here at WXOU, and the GioMoShow is your home for all Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. Don't forget to follow WXOU on our MAB award-winning social media platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can join the WXOU Discord server to get connected and get to know everybody at the station. And you can go to WXOU.org for articles, for show times, for listening live, everything you need from your favorite college radio station. And while you're on the internet, you might as well go and follow me as well. I got all my socials on the screen right now for you guys, but if you're listening on Spotify and not on YouTube, I'll read it out for you. I'm on Instagram in two places. You got Moscheri_Giovanni for my Instagram. You got the GioMoShow's Instagram at the GioMo Show. You got me on Twitter at GioMoSheriWXOU, and there's a TikTok around there somewhere. And if you're not with me right now, as alluded to before, you can find me at any time on YouTube and Spotify. And judging by the location and the way you're listening, you know this one was not live on WXOU. We had a game on Thursday, couldn't get the live show going, so thus we're making up for it now. And a little bonus, I got to cover the game that I was broadcasting earlier. So, what do we got on the docket for today's edition of the GioMoShow? Well, if you're familiar with the show, then you know we talk about Oakland University, men's and women's basketball. Those are the main winter sports going on right now, especially over the holiday break. That's what's going on at Oakland. We're also going to touch on the Detroit Lions and their ass-kicking of the Denver Broncos at home on Saturday night. Ooh, baby, that one was fun. And we also got a little bonus segment of the GioMoShow. We have the NFL All-Italian team. As you guys remember last week, I had my feelings on the Tommy DeVito stuff, so that kind of got me thinking of the All-Italian team. And looking over NFL history, what are some of the best Italians that we got on the football field? And I assembled them in an all-pro style team where one or some of each position gets filled by someone in history. So we'll talk all about that. We'll get to the GioMoShow picks. And for full transparency, I was going to pick the Rams, but I did not officially get the pick in for the Rams, so it's a moral victory for that one, but it will not count in the standings. But we'll get to the GioMoShow picks at the end of the show as well. And before we get to any of that, I got to tell you about some of the WXOU broadcasts we got coming up for the next week. Sadly, we only got one, as the men's team are going to be starting Horizon League play away, but the women will be starting it at home, that being Friday, December 29th. They will host Northern Kentucky at 7 p.m., and you can tune in right here on WXOU Sports to get the live action for it, as well as the recording afterwards on YouTube. And one final announcement. I should have had this in the intro, but you got to go and subscribe to WXOU Sports. That's the place to be for WXOU. Everything we do, from the live broadcast, from the highlights, from the interviews, from any other kind of sports content we have. We've done live pregame shows. We're going to be putting more GioMoShow on the channel pretty soon. So we're going to slowly start moving along over to the WXOU Sports YouTube channel. We're going to have the interviews on there as well. So you got to get to WXOU Sports. Just search it on YouTube right now. Come back to the GioMoShow, but just go search it up. There's no other place to be than WXOU Sports. So now that we got the out-of-order intro out of the way, let's actually get into some Oakland University basketball. We'll start with the men's team. The men's team, Monday, December 18th, they faced the Michigan State Spartans in the Breslin Center. WXOU was there covering it. I was there alongside Drew Allison and Justin Shepard. I wasn't calling the game. The other guys were. I was just there to help out, but was still happy to go as well. So you can catch that recording. You can catch the post-game summary. You can catch all that on WXOU Sports and WXOU.org. We got things everywhere. You guys just got to stay tuned. You guys got to be locked in with WXOU everywhere we are. But to the actual game, it ended with a loss for the Golden Grizzlies, 79-62 to the Spartans in East Lansing, in a game that was disappointing from a fan's perspective, from my perspective. I was talking up this game. I even did it the post game of Eastern Michigan, hyping the game up a little bit because I genuinely believed, judging by the way both teams were going, that this one was going to be a close game and that this one was going to be a very good shot for Oakland to get their first win in this series against Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans. I wasn't far off. However, there were some costly mistakes that caused the loss to be what it was. So Oakland in the first half was able to keep it really close. They were within one possession, then it grew to 4 points, then 6 points. But Oakland was still keeping in there for much of the first half. What was not there, however, was the offense. Oakland was struggling to get the ball in. They didn't look smooth with it. The plan didn't seem as coordinated for each offensive possession, and it just resulted in very staggered scoring, especially in a game that was as defensive as it was. You just wish the offense was there against the Spartans. So that started to become an issue. And Coach was even talking about in the post-game press conference, that's while they were playing good defense, it was the struggles on offense that kind of leached in and leaked into the defensive mentality. So it kind of, the way he put it, we started feeling sorry for ourselves because we couldn't make a shot. That's what he said at the podium. And the first half ended. Oakland was down by 8. It was 22-30 for the first half of the game. And there was a path to victory. I mentioned it in the halftime show of that live broadcast. There's a pathway to victory. However, the way it opened up in the first 5 minutes of the second half, Coach said that he was disappointed, frustrated. He was not happy about that performance because the first play of the second half, in a game where they held Tyson Walker, big time scorer in the Big Ten, they held him to 2 points in the first half. That was what was keeping them close. That's what was keeping them at least within within single digits. But the first play of the second half opens up with a wide open single pass to Tyson Walker, and he sinks a 3 wide open. Doors were blown off from there. Oakland was not able to keep up, and it was a stumble all the way to the end, unfortunately. Tom Izzo at the end gave the Golden Grizzlies a lot of credit, and I was there for both press conferences. Obviously, there were different tones for both sides, and it was a little more showboating-ish from Tom Izzo at the podium, which, you're going to have when you win the game, but I could tell that thing went for like 20 minutes, just Tom Izzo's part, and I was like, I get it. But this is very glotatious. This is very bragging-like. But they played a good game, and they deserve it, and they earned it. But I was looking at my watch. I'm like, this thing's taking 20 minutes. Come on, Coach. But either way, it was a disappointing game. Looking at the stats for the Golden Grizzlies, Trey Townsend, 17 points, was 6 of 14 from the floor. He even made a three-pointer as well, 1 of 2 from 3, 4 of 6 from the line with 4 rebounds. And what was really surprising, it's something that we didn't even get an answer of because we ran out of time at the post-game press conference, but Rocket Watts, playing against his former team, against his former coach, scored 16 points on 7 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3, with no free throws. That's just about the cleanest 16 points that you can get, but he only played for 24 minutes. Now, we didn't get a chance to ask, and I'm surprised no one else outside of WXOU asked at the post-game press conference, but obviously they had a lot of MSU media there, and they kind of they were taking up some time for the questions. They spent a lot of time talking about Blake Lampman in the game, which I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been talking about him because he had 12 points as well, made 4 threes. But I'm like, hey, we kind of have a big story here. I want to know why Rocket only played 24 points, and we just ran out of time. But I'm sure there was a reason, but 24 minutes on that kind of efficient scoring, I was surprised to see him only play 24. But to Blake Lampman, like we were mentioning before, 4 of 14 from the floor, 4 of 10 from 3, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Blake had a good game, and they gave a great They had great words for him as he, the walk on, and now is in his 5th year. Best player of the Golden Grizzlies. Tom Izzo, I can't remember. He said something to the degree of Lampman would be a good coach, and Campy kind of agreed with that. I mean, I can't remember how it went, but there was the idea put out there in the press conference that Blake Lampman could one day be a coach. I hope to see that. That'd be sweet. I think he would do a really good job at it, but that was something I heard, something to be verified. If you were to go watch the press conferences from both sides, but they mentioned something about it. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry. So either way, once again, the final score for the Michigan State game, 79-62 in the Breslin Center. And that will bring us now to their game Wednesday the 20th at Dayton, Ohio against the Flyers in their last regular season, well, I guess last out-of-conference game for the season, regardless of regular or not. But that one ended in a loss 91-67, and that doesn't sound good. But in the Grizz Vision afterwards, Neil was talking to Coach, and Coach was not mad about it at all. He knew that his team played good, and they guarded well, and the zone was working. It's just shots were going in. Similar to what Purdue Fort Wayne did in the arena, they just were making shots. And it was a case where they would guard, like Coach was saying, that they would guard like the whole shot clock. They would throw up a prayer, and it would go in. There was one play where that happened, and they missed the shot. The offensive rebound. Oakland guards another 30 seconds, and then they make the shot again. It was a game like that, but Campy was very happy with how his team played. He specifically mentioned Baru being, quote, dominant inside and, guarding the basket, And unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it. I wasn't able to listen to it. So I have to go just based off the stat sheet and what Coach was saying. But if he's telling me that Baru was dominant in protecting the rim and on defense, I'll take it, and I'm happy about it, because that's something I've been waiting for, something everybody's been waiting for all season long, to see Baru get back into it and to see Baru catch up from all that missed time that he had on the offseason, and to show some improvement and potentially be a dominant piece later down in the Horizon League season. Boy, that'd be sweet, because you see the flashes, you see the ability. It's just a matter of time that he's had with the program so far. There was problems with getting him in for the summer, and this was mentioned at the Michigan State game that Baru was only able to learn like 20% of the sets. And that's why he can only play for so many minutes, because he only knows what to do in so many situations. Just because he hasn't taken the time, hasn't had the time to learn that complicated zone. But to hear and to see that he has shown these improvements is very exciting. He was one of the biggest stars and one of the biggest additions to the team that I saw, and I was excited for in the offseason. But looking at the rest of the stat sheet, Trey Townsend back in action with 21 points, 8 of 18 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the line, 3 rebounds and an assist on top of it. A block included as well. Jack Golke, 3 of 8 from 3, that getting him his 9 points, along with 7 rebounds. That almost led the team. Isaiah Jones led the team in rebounds with 8. And, somehow, man, Golke is getting these rebounds. Either they're going his way or, he's not on the team for rebounding, but he's getting all the rebounds. It's not a problem, of course, but I'm just he's got 7 rebounds. He's got twice as much as Trey has. You don't expect that just from the construction of the team. But moving on, DQ Cole, he had 9 points. He was 3 of 4 from 3. And, had a rebound as well. And, both, you got the combination of Golke, and you got DQ, and you got Blake Lampman, you got some variety in three-point shooting. And that's what's nice, because everyone's going to focus on Jack. Jack is top in the country in three-point attempts, 3 points made. Like, I mean, he's up there. He's on everybody's radar. That, and so to have more options for three-pointers, hey, not bad. I think it's a good addition. So, yeah, disappointing week for the Golden Grizzlies men's team, losing both of their last non-conference games, but the way it's looking, and none of that's Horizon League, man. Coach will always say it don't matter until Horizon League. Well, Horizon League's coming up. They're going to be on the road for Cleveland State on the 28th, and they're going to be on the road for Youngstown State on New Year's Eve. So it's going to get real, folks. I think this team has potential to be a real threat in the Horizon League. Last year, they were 5th in the league going into the tournament. I could see them going above. So I'm really excited for this Horizon League season. And before we continue with the rest of your basketball, we got women's basketball coming up, but I got to tell you about Round Ball Radio. Join DJ Deshaun Fridays at 5 on WXOU for an all-inclusive talk and analysis on the game of basketball. Whether you're a fan of the NBA, the NCAA, or Oakland Athletics, Round Ball Radio has you covered. Listen to Round Ball Radio Fridays at 5 on WXOU. Let's now get to women's basketball. They played their last 2 non-conference games, this time at home in the arena against Toledo and against Miami, Ohio. We got a couple MAC teams coming to town to face the Golden Grizzlies. We'll give you the details on first Toledo. This one was Sunday the 17th at 7 p.m. You heard it on WXOU. Me and Harj rather, on the call for it. Golden Grizzlies fall to the Rockets 78-65. And, dude, that game was a drag. That game was ugly. And the reason I say that, and, especially, me broadcasting it, this game had 64 free throws in it. I wanted to vomit. It's like just from watching it. 64 free throws is insane. 38 of them went to Toledo. They made 31 of them. That's 31 points just from the stripe. And it took forever for the whole game. Oakland, obviously, they had, so if there was 38, then they had whatever the math is. Oakland had some down the stretch as well. That last 90 seconds, man, that must have taken an hour. But moving on to the actual game of basketball, it was a struggle with the size of Toledo. It was my read on the game because Toledo had not only one tall player, they had 2, even 3 players over 6 feet. One of them was 6'5", similar to what Central Michigan had in Rochelle Norris. And, 6'5" is not fair. Darn near unfair. And it is something that the team struggled with against Central Michigan, and they struggled with it again against Toledo. Just the rebounds, they were heavily out-rebounded. The free throws speak for themselves, like I already spoke for them. But it was just a struggle to get going in that sense. And it led to Oakland falling behind in the game, leading to the final score that we have 78-65. So now we'll quickly move on now to Miami, Ohio. This one I'm going to spend a little more time on. I was just there yesterday. I called it all by myself. It was just me calling it for you guys on WXOU. That's going to be up on YouTube shortly on WXOU Sports. Be sure to subscribe. But this game went to overtime. This game was destined for overtime from jump, from the start. And let me walk you all through it. So, I'll save the result. We'll say it that way, unless I already gave the result. I can't remember. But either way, The game started with the first quarter. The score was not even in double digits. 9-8 after 10 minutes of play was the first quarter score. And I'm like, oh, God. This one, I mean, at least it's close, but man, there's no offense in this game. And I was getting worried that it was going to be a slugger like that. Did not turn out to be the case. Offense picked up in the second quarter. Miami, they scored 13. Oakland scored 17 each in the second quarter. So it picked up a little bit, but it was close the whole way through. You had twin grad students transfers from Cincinnati and the Scott sisters that made no effort in looking anything apart. Their names were Jay Duscott and Jay Dinscott. They had the same haircut. There was number 10 and number 12. There was no hope for getting them right. I mixed them up so much during the game. And I already knew I was screwed as soon as I was reading the game notes. I'm like, oh, God. But either way, they had a huge impact on the game. And surprisingly, Jay Dinscott was the leading scorer for Miami with 13.2 per game, I believe. But it was Jay Duscott that was leading the way for the Red Hawks. But, as it kept going, the game was close. Nobody got further than 6 points of a 6-point lead, I should say. So the game was close all the way through. It was an absolute pleasure to call, and thank you to all those who listened. But either way, let's skip forward all the way to the fourth quarter, the final minute of regulation. So Oakland was leading by 1 in the fourth quarter. Oakland would grow that lead with a 3-pointer by Linda Van Schaik and then a mid-range jump shot by Brooke Quarles-Daniels. They now are up by 6 with a free throw on top of it by Maddie Skorupski with 23 seconds left. They're up by 6. It looked like Oakland had this in the bag until Miami, Ohio, they make a 3-pointer to get the game within 3 with 19 seconds left. So now it's within 1 possession. Everyone's calling every timeout they got. They lined them up back to back with these timeouts. And then Oakland had the inbound coming out of that last of the series of timeouts. It was 19 seconds left on the clock. The inbound is stolen by Miami, Ohio. They take it across court. They got speed. Kick out pass. 3-point shot. Tie game. 58-58 with 12 seconds left. The shot was made by, what was her name? I think it was Chorus Lard or something along those lines. It was the only shot she made all game. She took 1 field goal before that, and then with 12 seconds left, they kick her the ball for 3, and she ties the game. Incredible. So now Oakland has 12 seconds to get one last shot in to ice the game. They have the ball. They bring it over, and they take a 3-point shot trying to get it. Pops out. Game is going to overtime. And then in overtime, Oakland got as much as a 4-point lead in the game. It was 64-60 at one point. So 4 points with a minute 37. Miami makes some free throws to make it a 2-point lead with 1:07 to go. I'm trying to take you through the timeline here. And then Miami, they get a 3-pointer, and now they're in the lead in overtime. Oakland will go on to tie it. We'll bring it back up to even with 14 seconds left. It's 66-all. It's in overtime. And then Miami has the last shot at it. They're on the baseline. It's Jada Scott. Push away, alleged push-off jumper from right baseline. Sinks it with 0.2 seconds left. A buzzer beater. They reviewed it, and they confirmed that there was no push-off, and the score will stand. Game's over. Oakland didn't have, they didn't have enough time. They even added half a second to make it at least possible. unable to get it. And Miami walks away with a win in overtime. Their second win of the season and their first one since November 27th, which was an overtime win over Xavier. So the 2-7 Redhawks came into the arena and beat us in overtime. And it was such an exciting game, but man, oh, it was so close. Oh, I wanted to call an overtime win, man. Oh, man. But the game was just so exciting. You guys could go and check out the last bit of the broadcast recording. You could tell I was excited. Getting to some of the quick stats of the game, Brooke Quarles-Daniels puts up a career-high 22 points on 9 of 17 from the floor, 4 of 6 from the stripe, with 6 rebounds, 4 of them being offensive rebounds, along with 2 assists and 3 steals. We also have Maddie Skorupski. She puts on 15 points on 5 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. And then we got Kiani Westbrook. She was a big piece in the overtime push. 10 points with 4 of 4 from the floor. She never missed. Free throw line, 2 of 3 with an offensive rebound on top of it. 3 blocks included as well. So it was just that kind of game. It was just a great overall basketball game. And I thought it was one that is for the record books. At least for me, that was one of my favorite games to call. So we'll call it the personal record books. But either way, that will put the Golden Grizzlies at 4-6 for the season, and they will be at home still to take on the Northern Kentucky Norse to start Horizon League play next Friday, December 29th at 7 p.m. on WXOU. And with that, there is no club sports to report on. Unfortunately, the hockey teams have not had a game since the last episode of the GioMoShow. So we're going to go right into the ad read. What other sports shows we got on WXOU? Well, we got the Blue Ski Mask Show. Mondays at 2 p.m., the ultimate radio show for Detroit football and basketball aficionados. This thrilling program, Oakland Post sports editor Brock Hillig and sports reporter Kirk Szymanski will take you on an exhilarating ride through the world of Detroit Lions and Detroit Pistons. Get ready for in-depth analysis, player spotlights, game reviews, and expert insights on all things centered around the NFL and NBA action in the Motor City. Stay connected with us and stay connected to the heartbeat of Motor City sports. Blue Ski Mask Show, Mondays at 2 p.m. on WXOU. We'll be right back with your football therapy. It's time to talk about Detroit Lions and get to the all-Italian team of the NFL. We'll be right back on the GioMoShow. And now let's get back to the GioMoShow with the Detroit Lions taking on the Broncos of Denver, beating the crap out of them in Ford Field to the tune of 42-17. It was electric. I wasn't there at the game. I was there watching at home, but I could still tell that the crowd was roaring and it was loud in there. And it was just such an exciting game. 42-17 is just sweet, especially given how nervous I was going into the game. I thought the Broncos were on the right path and the Lions were on the wrong path. Simply put, the Broncos were on the upswing and Lions were on the downswing. They even put up the graphic of comparing the Broncos kind of ascend this season after being they started off 1-4 or 1-5. They side-by-side graphicked it with our 1-6 start and then our big push at the end from last year. So I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, this is going to continue both trends. Broncos are going to continue to keep going, and then the Lions are going to continue to go down. Did not even come close to happening. Jared Goff, 24 of 34, 278, 5 touchdowns. It was an incredible game against a defense that I was told was very good at getting the ball back and was sneaky good and would take away the ball. All this stuff I was hearing about the Broncos defense, and 42 points. And even with that, we, in addition to passing for 278, we ran for 185. Jahmyr Gibbs on 11 carries had 100 yards. David Montgomery on 17 had 85. An incredible day of offense by both sides, and boy, it was fun to watch. Amon-Ra St. Brown got the touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs got a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs got 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving, actually. Sam Laporta had 3. Like, the rookie tight end in the second round got 3 touchdowns, along with 56 yards. Like, dude, he's a freaking animal. Stay tuned to the All-Italian team, just saying. But he's incredible this season. He is literally on pace. I understand the absurdity of this statement, but they showed the graphic on TV. He's on pace to have a rookie season at a Hall of Fame level. As in, his rookie season is on pace or is already better than some Hall of Fame tight ends right now. Just putting it out there that this kid is really, really good. And can you imagine? Can you remember that we had TJ Hockenson before? He had great games too, but he wasn't nearly as consistent as what Sam Laporta is. And I remember back in the day, part of that was because we just weren't using him and weren't throwing him, but Laporta has done so well that he demands, not literally goes out and demands, but his performance demands the ball. You have to get it to him because he's going to perform and catch and score. The kid is a dog. I love Sam Laporta, man. He's freaking awesome. St. Brown, also love that guy. 7 receptions, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. Caught 7 of his 9 passes, man. He's a dog, too. Jameson Williams had his best game of the year. 4 catches, 47 yards. A sweet, juke on the sideline to get an extra 5-6 yards. He had a great game, too. This was one of the best games of the season for the Lions. And I'm only talking about the offense right now. Let's go to the defense. Defense held the Broncos. They held Russell Wilson to 223 in the air and just single touchdown. 83 yards rushing allowed. And where'd they even score a touchdown? Russell Wilson ran in for a touchdown. Humphrey had a passing touchdown, or I should say a receiving touchdown. And that was it. The defense woke up, changed some things, and got to work. Ife Melifonwu had a great showing. 9 tackles, a strip sack, picked up by Isaiah Buggs. And, they gave different looks, and it was working. And if that's what has to happen for the defense to do well, fine by me. I think Isaiah Buggs, though, is a huge difference maker for this team. And it's a shame that he has been getting into the alleged trouble with the coaches, and he's in a doghouse, and he, healthy scratch. It's a shame that all that has to happen because that dude makes a difference on the defense. Especially with Aleem McNeil out. You need that big body in the middle. You need Isaiah Buggs who collapses the pocket from the center. He what's it called? A pocket push, or whatever. Just a defensive tackle's getting pressure. He's a dog too. I love Buggs. I love big ass Buggs. And continuing down. Here's the thing. Aiden Hutchinson's still not getting a sack. He's got he had 4 tackles in the game, 3 of them solo. I mean, I just wish Hutchinson could just get more sacks. Is that dumb to say? You just wish he had more sacks. I understand that he's important and that the game plan for him and all that. But come on. You just wish that he was able to or that he, throughout the season has just been able to get close and then finish. It's a pet peeve and it's a nitpick given how the game went to, against the Broncos, but you just wish that Hutchinson was able to have a better season than he's had this year. Pressures, fine. Sacks make money, man. We'll just put it that way. So, overall, it was a freaking awesome game. It was just a great game for the Lions to get to 10 wins, 10-4, first time with double-digit wins in however long. And it feels good to be back. So, with only 3 games left now on the schedule, with the Vikings away, the Cowboys away, and the Vikings at home, how are we going to finish the season? That's been the talking point for the week. It's the final 3 games. Final 3 games. I'll tell you straight up, Dallas is really good and really, really good at home. I can't see us beating Dallas at home. Or in their home. I can't get my gut to feel it. If it was at Detroit, I'm all in. In that case, we're winning out. But with it being away, I'm going to have to give that one to the Cowboys. But I'm also going to have to give 2 wins against the Vikings. It's bold. And we split both the Packers and we split the Bears. Splitting against the Vikings, especially with the quarterback troubles they've had this season, and they're starting Nick Mullins. I got a hard time thinking that we're going to be outscored by a Nick Mullins-led offense. Especially with how we've kind of changed up the defense. And, the secondary looks much improved. Jerry Jacobs. I hate picking on the guy, but the results speak for themselves. As long as it's not a Jerry Jacobs against Justin Jefferson type of deal, I think we're going to be okay. It might have to be a shootout. Just because of the talented receiver that the Vikings just always have with both Jefferson and Addison. I think we can at least outscore them. Defense is going to have to figure something out with that. But I think the Lions are going to get it both times. Not much. I can't imagine much is going to change from next week to the last, to the 2 weeks later. So I got to think that we're going to sweep the Vikings. That'll put us at 4-2 in the division. We were 5-1 last year. And I think we end with the 12-5 that I predicted in May. Who said that? But yeah, all the way down in the first episode of Football Therapy, we were all on that couch, and me and my brother and my cousins, we predicted the season. I ended up 12-5. I think that might be the end of the season record. Not bad for a team that was 3-13-1 2 years ago. So that's going to be a fantastic season. That's going to win the division. I didn't even mention the division being a factor because one win will do it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it twice against the Vikings. So it's going to be a banner year. You got to hang the banner. I hear the conversation of should they hang the banner for the division title? Yes, they should absolutely hang that thing because it hasn't happened since the division was founded, since the division is what it is 30 years ago. They have the other ones. They have the Central Division winners in Ford Field. Why would they not have it for the North? What else do we have hung up there? Come on. Yes, you're going to hang up the division victory. Now, playoff victory banner? I don't think so. But definitely division winner banner should be hung. A lot of empty ceiling up there. So go hang it and print the shirts and print the tickets. But overall, I'm really excited about where the Lions are right now. These next 3 weeks are going to be sweet. I'm going to enjoy watching it. And we going to get that division. So coming up next, we'll have the NFL All-Italian team. I went through, searched up a bunch of Italian football players, and I put them in an all-pro lineup. So we'll get to that. We'll see which Italian makes it on the GioMoShow. Coming right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow. This time, we got a bonus segment for you guys. I've been thinking about this one all week since we had the little rant about Tommy DeVito last week. It got me thinking about what, some of the other Italians that are in the league, that are at least in the league today. And then I kept thinking, what about the league in history? So what I thought of was to do the all-Italian team of the NFL throughout history. I went through and I did really deep and rigorous research on some of the best Italian football players that the league has ever seen. And I have assembled them into an all-pro lineup. You got every position filled with at least some Italian blood. And we'll see which ones make the cut for the all-Italian team. So let's get started with the coaching staff, as the Italians pretty much load the coaching room. So I picked a head coach and I picked 3 coordinators: offense, defense, special teams. Head coach for the all-Italian team, it's got to be Vince Lombardi. I don't even have to explain this one. Vince Lombardi is the head coach of the all-Italian team. Offensive coordinator. This one, the coordinators, I took a little bit more of a recent approach on for coaches that are in the league today. As I can go, it could be a whole list of Italian coaches, but we're not doing that today. So I'm going to take some of the nowadays Italian coaches. The offensive coordinator is Nick Sirianni, current head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles and creator of the Tush Push, of the brotherly shove, an innovative offensive weapon that is so good that it might be too good. So I want him as the OC. Defensive coordinator, I got Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And that team is currently depending on them on the defense right now. And for the special teams coordinator, I got Rich Bisaccia. He was the interim head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders a couple of years ago and is now the special teams coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Just some names. I'll be honest. I just saw some. I knew those guys were Italian, and I knew they were in coaching today, so I put them on the team. Now moving on to the all-Italian offense. Let's start now with the offensive line. Starting at left tackle for the all-Italian team is Jim Covert, Super Bowl champion with the 85 Bears, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, and National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame inductee in 2004. He was also named to the NFL 1980s All-Decade Team and one of the 100 greatest Bears of all time list as well. He will be starting at left tackle. At left guard, beside Jim Covert, will be Nick Allegretti. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019 and in 2022, so we got to have some rings on the line as well. Starting at center will be Bob DeMarco, first-team All-Pro in 1967, 2-time second-team All-Pro in 63 and 68, and has been to 3 Pro Bowls in the 60s. Now at right guard, we got Joe Adruzzi, an undrafted player, but yet a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots in the early 2000s when they won those 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. He was also a 2-time All-American at Southern Connecticut. So Joe Adruzzi is our right guard. And then at right tackle, it's got to be the one and only Tony Baselli, the 3-time first-team All-Pro for 3 straight years from 97 to 99, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1990s All-Decade Team, and his number 71 has been retired by the Jacksonville Jaguars and is in the pride of the Jaguars as well. So overall, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 rings on this all-Italian offensive line. And behind that offensive line is the one and only starting running back for the all-Italian team. It's nobody but Franco Harris from the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 4-time Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Rookie of the Year, NFL Man of the Year, first-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 1970s All-Decade Team, and Pittsburgh Pro Football Hall of Fame and NFL Hall of Famer. Part of me believes Tony Baselli might be Hall of Fame as well. I can't remember. Wikipedia did not detail it quickly for me. So that's a lot of rings so far for this offensive line or for this offense as a whole. Let's get to the tight end. Who's starting at tight end for the all-Italian team? It is the aforementioned from the Lions segment, Sam Laporta. The rookie tight end is already on pace for a Hall of Fame career, and I gotta get our Detroit Lions on this team somehow, and Sam Laporta fits the bill. We'll be starting at tight end for the All-Italians. Wide receivers, this is where the roster gets a little bit thin. I won't lie with you guys. Danny Amendola will start at wide receiver for the All-Italian team. The 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, played a year with the Lions as well. He was the NFL kickoff return yards leader in 2009 and is in the New England Patriots All-2010s team. He's also a second-team All-Big 12 in 2007 as well. He's going to be one of our starting receivers, and next to him will be Gino Cappelletti from the Boston Patriots. He was the AFL MVP in 1964 and was a 5-time All-Star, 5-time AFL scoring leader, and the Boston Patriots All-1960s team. And then for the third receiver for the All-Italian team, Mark Mariani. 2010 Pro Bowler for the Tennessee Titans. That's all it listed. So we're a little bit light in the receiving room, but we still got that experience. And who is going to be throwing the ball to these receivers and to Sam Laporta and handing it off to Franco Harris behind that star-studded, ring-studded offensive line for the All-Italians? There's a lot of options here. You have Joe Flacco. You have Jimmy Garoppolo, at least for quarterbacks today. You got Joe Montana. You have Vinny Testaverde. But the starting role and the starting spot for the All-Italians is Dan Marino. As much as I love Joe Montana, as much as I love the rings that he has, it just, for me personally, doesn't compare to just the unmatched ability and unmatched skill and production that Dan Marino had. To list them quickly: NFL MVP of 1984, Offensive Player of the Year in 1984, Comeback Player of the Year in 94, Walter Payton Man of the Year in 98, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time passing leader, 3-time touchdown leader, NFL 100 anniversary team, Miami Dolphins honor roll. Number 13 is retired for the Miami Dolphins and shattered every passing record in his path. He will be the quarterback. He will be the captain for the All-Italian team. Moving on now to the All-Italian defense. We go deep into history with this one. To start at safety, we have Raymond Louis Abruzese. Abruzese Jr. He was an AFL champion with the Buffalo Bills in 1964. He is going to be one of our starting safeties. And next to him will be Matt Giordano, Super Bowl champion with the Colts in 2006. Will be starting at safety for the All-Italians. Defensive end, we have the nowadays member of this team, Nick Bosa, the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, and has just been a quiet yet powerful figure in today's pass rushing world of the NFL. But on the other side of him is 3 Mile Lyle, Darth Raider, the one and only Lyle Alzado. I know he took steroids, but aside from that, he was a Super Bowl champion with the Raiders in 1983 and literally boxed against Muhammad Ali in an exhibition match in Mile High Stadium when he played for the Broncos. I gotta get Lyle Alzado there. 3 Mile Lyle because it referred to a nuclear disaster, but I prefer Darth Raider as his nickname. So he's going to be lined up on the opposite side of Nick Bosa, but who's going to be in the middle? Who's going to be stuffing the run for the All-Italians? We'll start with the 6-time first-team All-Pro in the 1950s, Leo Nominelli. Nomellini. Excuse me with the names. Leo, as mentioned, was a 6-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler, 1950s All-Decade Team, NFL 50th Anniversary Team, and San Francisco 49ers Hall of Famer. Leo Nomellini will be defensive tackle for the All-Italians. And then on the other side, right next to him, will be the one and only Goose. Tony Siragusa will be the starting defensive tackle, an anchor of the 2000 Ravens defense, Super Bowl champion, and a fantastic broadcaster after his career. His highlights, his Hard Knocks clips, I can't get enough of them. You got to have a guy like that on your defense. A little bit of a silly balance to the absolute craziness of Lyle Alzado, at least for the defensive line. So now getting to your starting linebackers for the All-Italian team. I'll give honorable mentions to the current players of today, Matt Milano and Alex Anzalone. We'll give them mention, but I'm sorry, we go into history and there are some stud linebackers for the Italians. We'll start with Phil Villapiano. 1971 AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, 75 and 76 NFL all NFL Pro Bowl, 72 and 76 All AFC Pro Bowl, and is a 1976 member of the Oakland Super Bowl champion Raiders. Next for the linebackers will be Nick Buonaconti. He was a member of the undefeated 1972 Miami Dolphins team, won another Super Bowl with the Dolphins as well. Two-time Pro Bowler, 2-time second team All-Pro, 5-time All-AFL, and with his time in New England, he was on the New England Patriots 50th anniversary team, as well as the Miami Dolphin Honor Roll and the New England Patriot Hall of Fame. And we had to make some adjustments for the defense here, so we're going to have 4 linebackers for the All-Italian team. Teddy Bruschi. I hope that's how you say it. 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. That also in the early 2000s, NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2005, 2-time second team All-Pro, 2004 Pro Bowl member, and is a member of the New England Patriots, All 2000s team, All Dynasty team, 50th anniversary team, and the New England Patriots Hall of Fame. Teddy Bruschi. And then finally, to round out the linebacker spot, Frank Zombo was a member of the Green Bay Packers championship team when they won the Super Bowl against the Steelers, went undrafted and attended Central Michigan, and is from Sterling Heights, Michigan, just around the corner from where we are at Oakland University. Got to get Sterling Heights on the All-Italian team with Frank Zombo as our 4th linebacker. And to round it out, I got to add this player. We got to have a little special teams here. I couldn't find a whole lot of punters. I couldn't find a whole lot of dedicated kick returners. We're going to give the kick returning spot to Danny Amendola. But for the kicker, we have the 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, NFL scoring leader in 2004 and 2000's All-Decade team, Adam Vinatieri. Legendary kicker, Hall of Famer for sure, one of these days. all 1990s team, all 2000s teams for the New England Patriots. Game-winning field goals to win the Super Bowl multiple occasions, and had a great career with the Colts as well. He was also named, I got to mention this one as well, the NFL 100th anniversary team. Got to mention that one. So if you'll notice, we don't have any corners on this all-Italian team. We're going to have to rely on the safeties and the 4 linebackers to drop in coverage. I could not find any corners for Italians. I'm sorry. It's not what we're bred for. It's not what we come for when it comes to the positions. We get everything else. We got rings everywhere else. Just couldn't find any of them for the corners. The safeties are going to have to play a little bit of a deeper zone. And the linebackers have to fall in coverage. But that will be your Italian your NFL All-Italian team. I have a graphic posted on the GioMoShow Instagram in due time. That one was a lot of fun to make. We got some great players for the Italians over here. And you'll notice that I didn't put Tommy DeVito on there. He'll be the mascot for the team. He'll be in the suit. He'll do this in his costume. That's where he'll be on the All-Italian team. So, coming up on the GioMoShow, we finally have the NFL picks. We'll get Week 16 picks in for the GioMoShow. We missed Thursday, but that's okay. And we'll get it all here on the GioMoShow. 88.3 FM WXOU. Welcome back to the GioMoShow. Let's finish up this show with the NFL picks. The Rams and the Saints already played. Rams win 30-22. In my heart, I was going to pick the Rams. I didn't get it in time, so it won't count, but it will spiritually count for me. But moving on to the rest of the games, let's get the picks in live. The Bengals will beat the Steelers on the road. I have no faith in the Steelers anymore, man. The body language of the receivers and the rest of the team, I don't like it. They have Mason Rudolph also starting at quarterback. I don't like it. Bengals are on a roll. Bills at the Chargers. I'm taking the Bills in this one. I think they're red hot. They look like they're destined for the playoffs. They look like they're about to resurrect themselves. Browns and the Titans. I believe C.J. Stroud is still in concussion protocol. He is. So I'm going to take the Browns. The defense travels on the road, is the saying that I'm going to arbitrarily go with. But I do trust the Browns more, regardless of the injuries they got, man. They still show up and play. I love it. Lions at the Vikings. I got the Lions in this one. They're going to clinch the division for the first time in 30 years. They going to get it against the Vikings on the road. Packers will I'm picking so many road teams here. Packers and Panthers. I got the Packers winning because, dude, why would I pick the Panthers? Colts and Falcons. Why all the teams I like on the road this week? There's no way this many road teams could win. Right? Let me look through. Oh, man, it's kind of looking like that. So, Colts and Falcons. I do kind of dig what the Colts are doing. It's such a tight race for that division. The Bucs, I feel like, are going to wrap up the NFC South, but I guess there's still hope for the Falcons. Colts are better. I'll go Falcons just for the sake of a home team. Seattle at the Titans. I know Seattle just beat the Eagles, but I am not digging them overall. I'll go with Vrabel at home. Commanders at the Jets. Give me the Jets. This one is the 32nd worst offense against the 32nd worst defense. So you have that matchup, but I think the other side of it, you got Washington's offense against Jets defense. I trust Jets defense in that matchup more, so I'll take the Jets. Jaguars at the Buccaneers. I like what the Bucs are doing. I like how they're playing. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, is still going to be out. He is questionable with a concussion. I'm going to take the Bucs in this one. They came off a huge win at against Green Bay. I like what they're doing. Give me the Bucs. Bears hosting the Cardinals. I like the Bears in this one. I've gained some respect for the Bears. Especially in both the games that the Lions have played against them, I've gained some respect for them. So, especially against the Cardinals, I'll give it to the Bears. Dolphins hosting the Cowboys. You got two teams that can only play at home that have not beat anybody good. Naturally, I'll take I'll take the Dolphins. They should be getting Tyreek back because they kind of sat him, just told him to take another week. I believe he's going to be coming back. So, yeah, give me the Dolphins at home. Broncos hosting the Patriots. We beat the crap out of the Broncos, but the Patriots are god-awful. So I'm going with the Broncos hosting them. Chiefs at the Raiders. I'm perplexed. The Chiefs having their struggles. They are dropping everything. But they don't have anybody better, so they got to keep playing the players that drop. Raiders coming off a Thursday night win, blowing the doors off of the Chargers. Do they keep it going in division? It's at Arrowhead, though. I got to just go with the Chiefs, as much as I hate it. Eagles will beat the Giants. And now, Monday Night Football. Possible preview of the Super Bowl. Niners hosting the Ravens. This game is going to be awesome. I wish I didn't have to pick it. It's two 11-3 teams, top of their conferences, both very stout on the line in the line of scrimmage. Two MVP candidates of completely different flavors with Brock Purdy and Lamar Jackson. Oh, I wish I didn't have to pick this one. But the Ravens have beaten everyone in the NFC, it looks like. They kicked the crap out of the NFC. I like it's tough because both rosters are really good. Overall roster, I would say, is better on the Niners. They're playing at home because they got Christian McCaffrey, but they don't have the same threat as Lamar Jackson. Niners have a little bit better of receivers. The defense is good. It's just a matchup. The rosters tell me 49ers. As much as I love the Ravens, I'm going to have to go with the Niners in this one. The home team kind of deal, too. This game is going to be over 50, let's say. I don't know over-unders very well. So, with that, we have our picks saved. Here on the GioMoShow, you heard me think all about it. You heard me go through my processes and my false logic points. And that will be the picks for Week 16. We will recap. Well, how did I do last week, actually? Last week, oh no, I fall into 21st. I got 10 correct last week. Not bad. Not good enough to win the week, as I believe 13 picks correct won it. But, yeah, I'm sitting at 21st right now, coming off of 10 correct games last week, minus the Thursday night game for this week. Feeling good about it. So the picks are in. We'll talk about it next week. And that's going to end the GioMoShow for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you to everybody tuning in over break. Thank you to those who have been tuning into the games. Subscribe to WXOU Sports. Subscribe to the GioMoShow. Get ready because we got an interview coming up on the from the GioMoShow on WXOU Sports. So heads up for that. It's a special alumni interview from some of our WXOU graduates. That one's going to be up soon, so heads up, and be sure to be subscribed to WXOU Sports to get in on the action. Subscribe to the GioMoShow on YouTube and on Spotify. Listen to it Thursdays at 6 on WXOU. This has been Giovanni Mosher for the GioMoShow. We'll see you next week, everybody.